So Andy Ruiz looks like he's really piled on the pounds since his last fight back in 2022 against Luis Ortiz. Now, he's always been a big guy, obviously, always been overweight, but his weight has fluctuated over the years. His career heaviest, believe it or not, was not in that Anthony Joshua rematch. It was actually on his pro debut where he weighed 297 pounds, okay, just a shade under 300 pounds. In his last fight against Luis Ortiz, he weighed 268, which is what he weighed for the first Anthony Joshua fight. I'm expecting him to come in heavier than 268 if recent footage is anything to go by. He's been interviewed several times in recent days, and there was also a video that emerged of him which Jarrell Miller, his opponent, was kind of making jokes about and commenting on, where Andy Ruiz can be seen eating a hot dog very quickly in a New York City street, and Jarrell Miller's kind of mocking him about it, saying there's no way a guy who can eat a hot dog that fast is going to beat me. Now, obviously, people are going to say Jarrell Miller is massively overweight himself, but to be fair, we haven't, or at least I haven't, seen any footage of him since the press conference to announce the fight. Has Jarrell Miller lost a load of weight since then? We shall see. He obviously blamed his loss to Daniel Dubois on being excessively overweight. So, let's see if he can put his money where his mouth is and lose some of that timber. I suspect that Andy Ruiz doesn't feel such a need to lose weight for this fight because he's anticipating that Jarrell Miller is going to be just as big as he is. Not that it's a strategic thing, not at all. I think it's just a case of when in Rome, do as the Romans do. Maybe if he was fighting a sculpted Adonis, he'd feel more pressure to actually get himself down to a better weight. But since he's not, and he's fighting another big guy, he's like, okay, we're both big guys. Nobody needs to go on Weight Watchers for this fight. I suspect that's his attitude. One of the things that's always fascinated me thinking about this fight is who's going to be able to push who back? Because neither guy likes to box on the back foot, although I've seen both guys actually do it. Andy Ruiz boxed on the back foot in spots against Chris Arreola, and I've seen Jarrell Miller box on the back foot in sparring against Vladimir Klitschko. But this was obviously many, many moons ago when he was much, much lighter than he is now. So in terms of weight, you've got a seemingly unstoppable force going up against a seemingly immovable object. Two planets colliding. The circumference of the Earth looks svelte compared to the waistlines on display here. All jokes aside, I'm looking forward to the fight. I'm intrigued by it. The fast hands of Andy Ruiz, the brute force of Jarrell Miller. It should be a fight in a phone booth, especially with Andy Ruiz coming in at this size. I favor Ruiz, but not as strongly as I might have done if he'd been active. Because again, he's coming off a 2-year layoff, whereas Jarrell Miller's been active far more recently than that. Miller fought twice last year, just to put it in perspective. And Andy Ruiz's last fight was in September of 2022. Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comments section below.